Hey everybody. Okay, I've said a few times that I'm going to do this video, so here it is. Now, I will caution you. This will probably trigger some of you. Everything I say will not pertain to everybody, okay? It's men and women, divine masculine, divine feminine. Listen to the end because it's deep, okay? The topic is very deep and it's been very corrupted over the years. So have an open mind, have an open heart, and hear what I'm saying, okay? And because at some point, God will drop in and say something. I don't know what it's going to be, but whatever it is will be profound. But when you think of, because I made a comment back when the attempt on Trump, the assassination attempt happened, that there were women in Secret Service and they have no business being in the Secret Service as bodyguards. And I mean that. And I am a woman and I have every right to say that. I have every right to say whatever I'm going to say. Whether you agree with it or not is your opinion, and that's okay. But let me explain divine masculine and divine feminine. We all have both in us. We are created whole. We are all one. So you might be more divine masculine than divine feminine, or you might be more divine feminine than you are divine masculine. It has nothing to do with gender. Because if you think about it, think way back. Okay, I mean way back. Like before we came here and the American Indians were here. That's probably about as far back as this part of society can relate to. They had tribes, right? The women raised the children. They took care of the house. They took care of teaching the kids, tending to the health issues, whatever needed to be done at home. While the men went out and worked. They gathered. They provided for the home. They hunted, okay? Both roles are equally important. Just because he went out and did physical labor, whether he was building something, hunting, whatever, and she was home she was doing physical things too, but hers was more emotional and spiritual. They're both equally as intense as the other. In fact, I said something to my husband the other day and he said, and he laughed, and he said, I would rather go out and work all day and build something and do physical labor than have the emotional stress of having to deal with kids and life and all of the things. Because I told him, I said, women, again, this is not all women. So you may know women that are not organized. I'm not extremely organized, but I can multitask. Most women can multitask better than men. Men, and I know some of you are going to argue this too, and again, this is not across the board everything, but it depends on what part you're tapping into. Because there are some men that are driven more or geared more for the divine feminine. Just like I am typically geared more for the divine masculine. I am still a woman. I have no thoughts in my brain about having a gender change. I am a woman, but I tend to pull in more of the divine masculine because that's just how I'm geared. I can also be divine feminine. When you equal the two of them out is where the magic happens. So, but what happens, the woman, and this is where, when we came in and we started destroying, and I'm not saying the American Indians had it all figured out, but I will tell you they were a lot more on point than we are, because they were called witch doctors. God forbid we attach witch. Witch is not a bad word. Now, I don't care what you call it, you can call it an angel. If they're doing things out of love, it's good. If you're doing things against someone else, it's not good. It's less than love. Okay, so put whatever word you want onto it. But they had witch doctors. They were doctors that healed the people in the tribe. Okay, the women took care of the house. The men went out and hunted and gathered and provided. And if they needed to move, everybody chipped in and moved. Okay. If man and in, the perfect world, husband, wife raise the child together, right? If something happened to the husband, the tribe came together as a community to help that woman raise that child and make sure she was provided for, until potentially another man stepped in and they got married. Okay. There's nothing. And if God forbid she died for whatever, she got sick, she died during childbirth, whatever, the community came together to help him raise the children. It's the same thing. So as you can start to see, both roles are equally important. And like back to what I was telling my husband the other day, I said, men don't think about the fact that women have to deal with the crying child, feed it, clothe it, wash clothes, fix your food if you're a guy, take care of your house, and do all of those things and many more, make the clothes, everything, while you're out hunting. And I don't mean that as it's less than. That's not what I mean at all. But the thing is, where it started to go wrong, and this is where the corruption comes into it, because women were brainwashed to think that we were less than by the men who got into their ego. And the men, because the men started coming home saying, well, what did you do all day? Well, you didn't work as hard as, and I have heard men say this. So it still goes on. What'd you do? You didn't work as hard as I did. I was out busting my ass all day long. What'd you do? Sit at home with the kids? Yeah. So men started condescending women and making them feel less than. And I'm not saying that women didn't support the man. Usually women are geared to support their man, but she's not going to argue with him, because I'm going to use this term loosely. We are considered the weaker sex, right? Well, words are powerful. We are not weaker. We might not have the strength that men have physically, but we are not the weaker sex. We are just as strong and powerful, and sometimes more so than the men. But back to what I was saying. So you have men coming home and taking their frustrations out on the woman of, well, what did you do all day? All you did was this. I went out and busted my ass and I worked hard today. Meanwhile, she's just as tired, because mental stress and emotional stress can be just as, if not more so, damaging to your body as physical labor, physical stress. So then the women started coming together saying, I don't like this. I want to be equal to the man. I'm not less than, I want to be equal to. So then you have women's rights. And I'm just going to blanket this whole thing by saying there should be no rights. Okay? It's not about anybody's rights because everybody is equal. There is nobody that's better than anybody else. I don't care if you're a man, a woman. I don't care if you're black or white or green. I don't care. You're all even. Nobody's better or worse or deserves any more than anybody else. So women's rights came into effect. Well, women went out in the workforce. And what did that do? That started destroying the home family structure. That's why kids now have no clue how to have a family and how to be responsible because they're not taught at home what you're supposed to be taught. They go to school to be taught everything, and school's not teaching them. So school is teaching them an agenda and how to be mind controlled. So you have women's rights, and then you had black rights, African American, whatever you want to call it. Again, there are no rights because black people are not less than white people, and white people are not less than black people. They're all everybody, or Mexicans, or whoever you are. Nobody's less than anybody else. So again, we're going to take the whole rights thing out of the equation. Okay? But what happened, just like women have specific gifts and strengths, just like men do. Back to the assassination attempt. Women do not need to be bodyguards against a big man. I honestly, if I'm at the point I need a bodyguard, I don't want a woman because that's not where our strength is. Now, you mess with her child, don't get in the way of that. Do not, because she will take you out faster than the man would. And that's no diss against the man, but that is where her strength is. Because remember, the divine feminine is to protect and raise the children. Look in nature. Who takes care of the babies? The female. So women have strengths that men don't have, and vice versa. So women can protect, yes. But if it's a life and death situation, now, like I said, with the Secret Service or whatever, if a woman wants to be a sniper, because there are some women that shoot better than some men. I speak from experience. So it just is, Now, does that mean that men can't shoot? No. But what I'm saying is we started, and if you want to go back to, let's look at the Bible. A lot of us understand and know that Lilith was the first female. It wasn't Eve, it was Lilith. However, the Bible doesn't want you to know about Lilith because Lilith stood in her power and she was not submissive to Adam. Take that further, and the Bible says that they blame all and most 3D people look at the Adam and Eve situation and blame Eve. Oh, well, if Eve hadn't done this, well, you know what? Adam had just as much free will as Eve did. He didn't have to eat that damn apple, you know? So don't blame Eve. But that's where the corruption of the divine feminine started, making us feel like we're at fault. It's all our fault. No, it's not. No, it's not. And the Adam and Eve thing is a metaphor. It's not a literal thing anyway. But people want to take it as a literal, that Eve listened to the devil and she ate the apple and she gave it to Adam and he ate the apple and then the world went to hell in a handbasket. So, no. So then you carry that theme through the Bible, and most women in the Bible, there is an issue in some way, shape, or form. And they want to make that very clear to you, that women are trouble. So they've portrayed them as prostitutes or whores or, whatever. And it's like, no. And they want to tell you that witchcraft is bad. Well, all that is, again, if you're doing it out of love and you're healing people, because that's what Jesus did. He healed people. He turned water into wine. If you don't call that witchcraft, I don't know what you call it. That's what a miracle is. It's something that you can't explain. But people don't want to look at it that way. But that is where women have more of a strength than men. That scares the hell out of most men. And now they're not going to own it because their ego won't let them own it. Because a lot of your 3D men, really, they consider that a weakness, that the strength of a woman scares the hell out of them. Down deep, it really does. Because we are extremely powerful. We are sometimes we're more powerful in our abilities, and that doesn't make us better. It just is. Jesus was just as divine feminine as he was divine masculine. He just happened to be in a man's body. You are also, I don't care if you're a man or woman listening to me, you are also divine masculine and divine feminine. If you are a woman and you're out in the workforce and you're working every day, that's divine masculine. If you're bringing in a paycheck and you're providing for your family, that's divine masculine. I don't care what sex you are. If you're home taking care of kids, because the woman is out doing whatever, if you're home taking care of kids, that's divine feminine. I don't care what sex you are. I know men that are extremely protective of their kids. That's divine feminine. So, again, we have to go back. Society has gotten all kinds of messed up. And now you've got people that are looking at, because the puppet Biden they're finally phasing him out in the only way possible to phase him out without the Democrats blaming it on Trump. But you have people looking at Harris and saying, oh, we need a woman president. Yeah, well, we might need a woman president, but not that woman. I don't care, again, I don't care what sex you are. I don't care what color you are. It's not about black and white. It's not about man or woman. It's who is the best for the job. And it ain't her. So, but, you also, and this is a whole nother topic, those of us that are awake, this is an extremely frustrating time for us because you're watching people put the country has become a popularity contest or the next Miss America contest. It's not about popularity in Miss America and who makes you feel warm and fuzzy. It's who can do the job. And that goes back to home. Who is the best person for the job? It's just like, what was that show? Mr. Mom? Where the guy stayed home and raised the kids and she went out and worked. Okay, if that is how the family unit works the best, more power to you. God love you. Because maybe she is more divine masculine and he is more divine feminine. Either way. But taking the divine feminine out of the household and making them feel like they have to go to work to be equal, you've destroyed the family unit. You've destroyed society. But that is the mindset of the corrupt side. They don't want unity. They don't want family unit. They don't want people with common sense. They want sheep. They want people that just mindlessly do whatever they're told. And that's because people aren't taught to think for themselves. That's why they give you all this technology. So kids don't even have to think anymore. Everything is programmed in their phone. AI and think about AI. AI gives you results, right? There is no emotion. You cannot replace the human with technology. You know why? Because you can't put emotion in technology. Emotion is the divine feminine. Now I know some men get all wigged on that and think that emotion is weak. No, it's not. There's some of the strongest men I know I've seen cry. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. You have to own your emotions, or they will own you. It's like your ego. You control your ego, or your ego will control you. So, and I don't even know where I was going with this, but so again, that is part of the corrupt agenda, is the destruction and division. It started between men and women. Oh, and I heard something yesterday. They were talking about, who was it? It doesn't matter. They were talking about people living their purpose and finding their strengths. And this guy was a janitor. I think it was America's Got Talent or something like this. It was a janitor. And he was a very soft-spoken man. I didn't watch it. I'm just telling you what I heard. But they think, oh, he's just a janitor. That means he's less than, right? His voice was amazing because he sung from his heart. That just a janitor is the messed up mindset that we've got to get out of. There is no just a. That janitor's position is just as important, if not more so, than the CEO of the company. Could the CEO run his business if his office was a complete disaster and filthy and the trash hadn't been taken out? No. But by the same thing, if the CEO didn't invent the company, the janitor wouldn't have a position. So they're equal. They're just as important. So the mindset that we've been geared to think that men are less than or women are less than. No, No. Or to think that you're just a janitor, you're just a waitress, you're just a housewife. You know what? You're just the CEO of a company. That doesn't make you any better or any worse than anybody else. Because you're probably more unhappy than that janitor. You're probably more unhappy. If you're happy and you're doing what you love to do, not for a paycheck, but because it comes from your heart, that's where you are the richest person in the world. And that's part of why I say I live in heaven on earth every day, because I do what I enjoy doing. I am very happy. Is my life roses? No. But I know how to make roses out of, or I know how to make lemonade out of lemons. So, it's just like yesterday. My water tank went out. I'm telling you, if you buy my house, all the water stuff is new. So, but I'm going to be selling my house. So why do I want to give a problem to somebody else? The water pump is brand new. The water tank is brand new. The hot water heater is brand new. Some of the plumbing is brand new. So I don't look at it as a bad thing. It happens for a reason. And, my husband was supposed to have a doctor's appointment yesterday. It got canceled. It gave us the opportunity to replace the tank and get the water pressure back up. It happens for a reason. So, and that's what I told, my husband and I, he is extremely intelligent and he can fix just about anything. And I'm good with that because I finally have somebody I can trust. I don't have to fix everything myself, and I don't have to worry about sending him out to fix something and then, oh my God, he's messed it up. Now I have to fix it. Because I can't tell you, it took me, how old am I? It took me 56 years, 57 years of doing it myself. And that's the other thing. I remember back one time when I was single, my mom told me, she's like, Pam, you are the most independent person I know. Why you feel like you need a man is beyond me. It's because I was coming from lack. But that's why I say, yes, I was raising my daughter, but I was also taking care of everything else that needed to be taken care of. So I didn't need a guy. I didn't need a man. But that's the other detriment to the whole divine masculine and feminine. Where because, and I'm not pointing fingers at men, but men came home and told their wives, what did you do all day? All you did was this while I was out doing that. Well, now she's out doing that. So who's taking care of the kids? Nobody but the TV. And now the women are like, well, what do I need a man for? So you have people that are staying single longer. And then you have children that are born out of wedlock. And I'm not going into the whole religious, I'm not going there. How, because I don't have limited beliefs when it comes to your religious beliefs or your beliefs, period, whatever you call them. But you don't have men and women at home raising the children, which is how it's supposed to be. So like I said, the whole divine masculine and divine feminine thing, and you think and look at, okay, this, here you go. Why was Jesus killed? It was not, he didn't come here to forgive you of your sins or whatever the crap they say. That's not why he came here. So scratch that from your memory banks. That's limiting belief, and that's giving your power away to someone else. Jesus came here to show you that you are more than this physical body. Everything he did, the miracles that he created, the miracles that he did, were from the divine feminine. He was crucified because of his divine feminine. He was very divine masculine as well. But his intuition, his love for people, that wanting to help and heal, and the things that he did was his divine feminine side. So they crucified him, which, what did that do? That sent a message to everybody. Don't do this shit, because the same thing's going to happen to you. So it made women afraid to step into their power, to step in there to their intuition. And men the same way. Men their intuition was squelched. So then you fast forward to the witch trials, where they started killing witches, and they've tormented people for years for their intuition, saying that they're crazy, they're witches, they're bad. No, it's the divine feminine. Now, let's fast forward to AI. It's the same thing. It's divine masculine. There is no divine feminine in AI. The corruption is trying to eliminate the divine feminine from our society. Women, we need to wake up, and men, you need to wake up too. Men need to support their women, and women need to step back into their power, and we all need to come together and support each other from a place of love and equality. Argue with me if you want. No, you can have this argument, but you're going to argue with yourself. Think about it. These are all things that it's not stuff I've read. It is stuff that has come to me. God has spoken to me, because it's like putting pieces of a puzzle together. It's not making sense. Where's this piece? And then I get the information. Just like what I just said about Jesus. It was because that just came in. I told you. So, and then you're gonna have people that want to argue that point. No, Jesus came here to die for your sins. No, he didn't. It's a metaphor. Because what happens is when you raise the Christ consciousness within you and you find the Christ in you, which is there, you don't want to sin. So that's where it dies. The old you dies. It's externalized. And another way we've been brainwashed is to give our power away. We need to step back into our power as one. Again, I don't like running the country. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. I don't care if you're black or white. If you have this country's best interest at heart, and you are going to put this country back the way it's supposed to be, I will vote for you every day and twice on Sunday. But I'm not going to vote for you just because you're a woman. I am not going to vote for you just because you're black. or white or whatever. You know, and I will warn you, because it's already coming out. When Kamala said she would run, her party has already put it out there that if you vote against, if you're saying anything against her, you're racist. You know what? Stop that shit. Stop it. Because they're causing division again. It has nothing to do with black and white. It's just like Obama. Yes, he happened to be black, but he was in it to destroy this country. And I said that back, but people didn't listen to me then either. And now we've seen that he is controlling the Biden puppet. So, or he was, anyway. And somebody's going to need to control the Harris puppet, because I saw something today and I'm like, did she even know what she said? But for those of you that are awake, I'm just going to end on this note. Rights, women's rights, black rights, whoever rights, erase that from your vocabulary, because everyone is equal. Everyone has rights. Women and men have their own, everyone has their own strengths. I can do things that my husband can't do. He can do things that I can't do. And it's not about gender, because I can do things that my sisters can't do. And they can do things that I can't do, nor do I want to do. Everybody has a strength. You have to find your strength. And whatever it is, the people around you need to support you and not knock you for it. You need to support the people around you for what they do and love to do, and not knock them and judge them. We need to find somebody that is capable of running this country. And I think the whole government system has to go away the way it is, because it's just wrong. But as far as the light workers and the people that are awake, and I don't care where you are on your journey, if you're awake on the government corruption, yes, this time is very frustrating, because we're watching a train wreck and getting ready to happen. The thing is, don't focus on the accident that's coming. Focus on the end result. Because, and don't even, and I've gotten caught in this myself with Facebook. It makes, I told my husband this morning, it literally makes my brain hurt watching these people willing to throw our country away because they have their feelings hurt over things that Trump said, or what the media has said about him. There are people that voted, they didn't vote for Biden, they voted against Trump. I have people in my own family that voted for Biden because they got tired of listening to Trump talk. There are people that voted for Biden because he plays crossword puzzles, and that resonates with them. I'm telling you, you have to let this stuff go. Send them love. Don't get caught in the drama, because focusing on that ridiculousness keeps you in a low vibration. And it's part of the agenda. And I will tell you, the other thing, mark my words, the Trump assassination is going to be shoved under the rug, because now Biden's sick, right? They're not going to admit to the fact that they've lied to you for 4 years on how sick he is, literally, and the fact that he doesn't even exist. He's a puppet. They're not going to tell you that, because the next flag that's not real, the thing that they're going to throw up as a diversion for you, is her running office. because it is going to be a complete cluster. You know what? It is going to be a complete cluster. So you're not even going to be thinking about the fact that Trump got shot at and that Biden, they lied to you about Biden. Those are just going to be so far out of your mind because you're going to be so focused on her. Mark my words. And I'm not saying that that's going to be the last straw. There will be probably something else that's even worse than her running our country. But what it's going to do is hopefully wake up some more people that are still asleep. Because they'll see that she really is incapable of running our country. So anyway, okay, I know geez, 40 minutes, I'm sorry. No, it had to be said. So anyway, resonate with what I said, don't resonate with what I said, but what I said has come from God. And we need to wake up to this fact. And only when we start waking up to the divine masculine and divine feminine and how they have the corruption has put a division between the two of us, will any of this stuff start straightening out. So I send you guys love. I send you light. I pray for your clarity. I pray for your guidance and protection. So anyway, lots of love.